new generation of consoles, like a van-ized preteen with daddy issues, the industry's bosom swells. But by the end of the very same generation, their ego is smaller than a dust mite's dick on a cold day. It seems every few years, the same corporate shadow play is cast essentially the same players as heroes and villains with essentially the same three-act structure. Act 1, the rise. Act 3, the fall. And Act 2, the rise and fall of the insufferable goddamn gimmicks. And all too often, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, and now I suppose we have to throw Valve in there, find themselves marketing peripheral trash to an oblivious public, willing and eager to believe, for example, that 3D is the wave of the future. Remember how Game Failures Journalist and Developer Roundtable program, the bonus round, devoted more than half of the runtime of their 2010 What to Expect in the Future episode to speculating that 3D televisions would be an industry-wide standard by 2013? Because I fucking do. Look at motion control, for crying into your cornflakes. Oh sure, it's easy to remember the earth-rending success of the Nintendo Wii or the Kinect, but let's not fail to remember that the Wii was the product of more than 2 decades of companies slapping prohibitively expensive motion control peripherals on a successful consoles and being swept to the clearance rack the same motherfucking weekend. Unsightly hunks of plastic with setup instructions that would confound Tesla, that somehow managed to be even more unwieldy than their multisyllabic nomenclature, which, given that they were named shit like the Aura Interactor and the Sega Activator, is saying fucking plenty. Crotchety gamers, like myself, raised on the NES and Master System, are fond of pining for the glory days when games just had more soul and weren't solely about the bottom line, but replace your rose-colored spectacles with rose-colored bubble lenses, and you'll be better able to see off into the periphery where your childhood subconscious selectively shoveled all the shit from our childhoods. For every Crystallis, we got a Fester's Quest. For every NES Zapper, a Power Glove. And for every Oculus Rift, 20,000 interchangeable VR headset kiosks for the bargain price of $50 at the county fair in 1992. The fact is, game companies like Activision crank out half-finished horseshit like Call of Duty Ghosts over the course of 10 entire months, not because they've suddenly converted to the concept of not wanting to be paid to be creative, but because the industry, frankly, never wanted to be paid to be creative. Game and hardware development isn't even a predominantly creative exercise, it's a lewd, profane, commercial one, and one that, like film studios, occasionally, almost accidentally, yields a full-on work of art in provably diminished quantities. Peripherals like the Oculus Rift or the Kinect are like a bad girlfriend who also happens to be the nastiest, kinkiest thunderskank you fucking know. You know it's wrong. You're certain you'll regret it, yet no matter how many times you wake up the following morning pissing Tabasco and power-injecting penicillin into your crank, you can't bring yourself to delete the bitch from your iPhone. Look, I don't give 7 fucks in rapid succession how many Oculus Rift articles Polygon.com pie faces my ass with. It's a gimmick, and it will always be a gimmick. And fanboys rapid-firing these articles at me, asking me if the future has finally arrived, need to take a deep, bracing breath of carcinogen-infused American air, pause for a moment, and really ask themselves if shit like the Kinect or the Wii U touchpad is objectively the future. Look, in 2009, whatever studio exec was remotely operating the James Cameron Cyborg that week assured us all that thanks to Avatar, 3D films were officially the future. Okay, and by November of 2012, 20th Century Fox, the same company that distributed and funded fucking Avatar, had canceled virtually every 3D film project on their schedule for the coming year. Oops! Steven Spielberg stood on the stage during E3 2011 and assured us all that Kinect was the future. I guess his Nostradamus hat was a little tight that week because now rumors are swirling the Xbox One will eventually see a version that is not packaged with the fucking thing. Welcome to the future, Rageaholics. The same future we had in '93. A future of shitty devices we'll pay exorbitant prices for and never fucking touch again as long as we live. I'm RazörFist. God fucking speed.